Hi guys, what is going on? And welcome back to an episode of Conqueror's Blade. So today, Tercio Arquebusiers, what a unit. These are the tier 5 musket units. A really nice unit. Let's look at them in the tech tree first, just so we can sort of see where they sit. Obviously at the end of the more western musket line. Quite expensive to unlock in total, obviously 25,000 honour for the unit itself. But obviously you've got to go through the Kriegs first, do the ending bayonet training before you get to it, as well as following this little bottom line adds another sort of 10,000 or so honour to it. It's a fair old trek to actually get down to these guys, but once you've got them, and once you've got them fully upgraded, my god, they are worth it. What a nice unit they are. So let's come back to the barracks and have a look at them and kind of what makes them so nice. I'm still a little bit short on some of my doctrines that I'd like to see some, maybe a musket specific health one to swap this one out for. But you know, I'm just waiting on lucky treatises drops to actually get something I kind of want, or maybe a unit damage one here just to add a little bit more damage to them. In terms of their actual sort of base stats, I mean that piercing penetration, 3,900. It means it goes through anything, and hopefully, as you'll see a bit later on in the clip, when you start shooting at Reapers, you know you're hitting Reapers for like 1,200 damage, 1,300 damage, and that is awesome. I mean, that means you can really actually effectively take down Reaper units pretty quickly. Their damage is actually a little bit on the lower side when you compare it to something like the Kriegs, but the fact that they get a really nice ammunition supply, 900 over the 400 that Kriegs Rat Fusiliers get, makes them much more versatile. And once you start to get some of the upgrades, they feel pretty accurate. Their rate of fire is nice. And more than anything, I talked about when we did the Kriegs video a couple of weeks ago, how the Kriegs felt fairly strong and fairly sort of resilient. These guys are really the epitome of it. Firstly, they get 8,600 hit points. That's nice. That is the same as most infantry units, so that's a really nice start. And that piercing defense of 727 is super nice. I am running them with a piercing defense doctrine to boost it up that little bit more, but that means they're actually pretty resistant to enemy ranged fire, and that includes enemy longbow heroes. They start firing at these guys, they don't instantly die like almost every other ranged unit, which means you can be really quite aggressive with them. And yes, they still take damage, they still take range damage, but they don't just collapse in a heap like something like Imperial Arquebusiers do. So these guys hold up that much better, and it makes them a really nice unit to play. Of course, they are expensive at 350 leadership. They are a tier 5 unit. Unit kits, again, are going to be sort of 15,000 bronze a kit, unless you're buying them separately for silver. And obviously, they go up to level 30. I went down the top veterancy line because this is definitely the one to go for. This is the one that gives you all the range damage. You get a little bit of increased defences as well as you're heading on down. This is a big one, the firing accuracy. I did find at the start they feel initially like a bit of a downgrade from the Kriegs because you're missing so many of the veterancy line points. But once you start to get things like the firing accuracy bonuses, a little bit of damage, then you start to get the firing rate of fire increase, the block break status, things like that. It really starts to feel like it gets better and better. And the fire rate increases is nice because you have the ammunition to throw away, so you kind of want that rate of fire. And then obviously you start to get those increased in hit points, and finally that nice defensive buff just on the bottom row really brings them up to make them that kind of pretty resilient unit that you can kind of throw around in battle a little bit more. So yeah, all in all, I've been really impressed with them. As I say, hopefully I'll get a sort of a musket specific doctrine at some point. Probably the health one would be quite nice to throw on here, just to give them that extra few little hit points, make them that little bit stronger. So let's hop into some battles with these guys, and hopefully we can put them into practice and kind of show really how good they can actually be in combat. So we're into our siege battle now, and as you may think on this map, obviously it is an amazing musket map underneath the gateway, but things are actually going to play out a little bit differently to that, so that's why I kind of found this is kind of quite an interesting clip, and we see kind of quite a bit of different playstyle with the Tercios. But at least initially, I've just been waiting for the siege towers to come in. I've just been hanging back a bit, playing around. I wanted to make sure these guys weren't going to try and climb up the ladders and rush the walls and rush the B point that way. But there was enough of us here that they didn't really do that. And the siege towers start to mount, and we start to get the infantry coming in. Obviously I'm immediately then looking and thinking about that. That longsword came far too far forwards. But then I noticed on the other side, my muskets are already engaging. I mean, obviously these guys just get absolutely mullered. I mean, this is the power of high tier muskets. Look at the rate they die. 15, 17 kills, you know, within seconds. They just get absolutely cut to pieces. And the hero loses the bulk of his health and then just gets overwhelmed and killed. The muskets in that sort of close range situation against low tier units absolutely butchers them because the penetration is so high and the damage is so high and they are accurate. And the accuracy is a really key point that you don't get on other muskets. And it's one of the things that makes things like the Kriegs and the Tercios really rather nice. I was going to try and aim down and hit those guys, but they actually pulled back round the corner. I didn't think I'd reasonably be able to hit them. I then look and think there's actually quite a bit of stuff trying to focus the B point. And I thought, oh, well, I probably should think about pulling back and going to help them. A bit slow, really. You know, they're already on the capture. And these Tercios are not super fast. One thing you'll discover about them, they do feel a little bit sluggish. Not crazy, but a little bit slow. And actually, as you'll see, by the time I get over there, the rest of the team has actually done a really good job and responded ahead of me. I'm a bit slow to get there, really. Stuck on a wall, didn't help me. But as you see, I'm constantly waiting for the units to try and catch up. I don't want to completely abandon them and just leave them to run past the point entirely on their own. You know, they are still a ranged unit, more than a melee unit. But by the time I actually get to the B point, a lot of friendly team has turned up, driven the enemy off the B point, and actually driven them back to the wall. So I was thinking, well, I didn't quite know what to do then. You know, we've had 20 or 30 kills or something. It's not a bad start to the game, but I was kind of expecting there to be quite a lot of stuff on the B point. So I didn't know whether to go back to my original starting position, or to head down to the A point, or to push all the way around. And in the end, that's what I decided I wanted to try and do. Push, because the team was pushing so hard, I wanted to try and clear past this wall and make it back to my starting point in this much shorter route. So anyway, as we come around the corner, we've just got some spear militia, quite some low tier units, just coming over coming up the ladders. You know, easy kills for the muskets and for the rest of the team. Of course, they are already overwhelmed, but we're just sitting there shooting, even at this sort of mid-range, pretty accurate still, pretty easy for the muskets to land their hits on the models. A few spear sergeants, I think, in the distance, which will just help to finish off as well. And then I'm thinking about trying to clear this siege tower and getting back to where I was when I started. I'm trying to keep an eye on behind me. I'm also trying to keep a bit of an eye out for trebuchets, because you know, there's quite a trebable spot here. And obviously Tercios, you know, quite a unit that people like to target with trebs. But then we just got more and more stuff piling over the walls and the ladders, and it's just I'm still deciding what I want to do, and I'm just slowly racking up kills. Remember, we've lost no models at this point, so that's where this unit really starts to come into its own. But then I noticed we've got some units, a little bit of capture triggered on the A point, so I wanted to come down here, make sure what was going on, because we didn't have a lot of allied support down here. There wasn't actually a lot here in terms of enemy units. It actually turns out I think it was just one guy trying to sneaky some kills. But much like this guy with these repeating crossbows, I was thinking, oh look, there's some nice easy pikemen at the end of this tunnel. Annoyingly, my muskets end up auto-attacking a unit on the wall to the right, so I actually have to try and manually target them down the tunnel. They start to get some hits. It's struggling a little bit at this sort of range. You can see, from the sort of the tracer from the shots, quite a few shots are going wide. We are getting some hits, much more accurate than things like, the Imperial muskets, but pretty on the edge of their range there, I would say. So then I'm thinking, right, I want to get back up to my wall position. So I've been trying to do for like the last 3 minutes. Let's get this unit up here, get back to here, and I can start racking up some more kills again. It's such an easy spot. And then Imperial Pike Guards turn up and ruin my game. So these guys are here thinking, right, well, I've got to get back down these stairs. Then I don't want to be going toe-to-toe with Imperial Pike Guards. It's a bit unfortunate. If I'd have been there 30 seconds earlier, I'd have been able to get myself up on the wall, and I think we would have absolutely cut them to pieces as they'd come up. Because you can see, as a few of them run down that stairs, they all just get shot to pieces almost immediately. But then a lot of them are pushing on. I see a lot of enemies are starting to push through from the other side of the gateway, and I'm starting to think, well, okay, we're on the brink of getting overwhelmed here. I don't think it's worth trying to push up there anymore. We've had almost 50 kills so far, and units about out of ammunition. A few of them are kind of badly hurt. Let's get back to the supply point. Let's retake the situation, get back to the supply point, get ammoed up, get healed up, and kind of decide what we want to do from there. So I go back, get them thrown on the supply point, and then I'm heading back to the A point, because I noticed we're getting a bit of capture going on here. Thinking, right, let's get back. And then, so obviously they've got these spear militia, it's just a bit of a hero moment. I'm just trying to keep my hero on the point, basically just to stop the capture. I'm hoping that we're getting to get friendly troops turning up. There's not that many enemies here. I'm just sort of laying about with my poleaxe. Obviously racks me up a few kills. And then as we get more allied support up, I'm bringing my muskets back. But this is where they are slightly annoying, that they're a little bit slow. You know, I kind of wish they could come just that bit quicker, because, you know, I could get some kills and assist quite a lot here. This would be a perfect Tercio moment. Could sit quite close to the front and just throw that damage in. But it doesn't really matter. We get enough team support turn up, and we basically drive the enemy off the point and get them all killed down. And then I notice I'm back to the B point. So you can see kind of the rhythm here, that I'm basically just running around the map in a big circle all the time, trying to fight fires at different points in a way that you don't normally do with a lot of range and musket units. Because, you know, units are quite fragile. Trying to run around the map in a circle with, you know, any sort of archer unit is quite dangerous, because they get hit by a longbow, explosive bolt, anything like that, and that's it, they're dead. You can't just cool them and start running around. And these guys do work really well because they're so strong. And as you see, we haven't lost a single model yet we've had quite a lot of explosions and crap and arrows and other stuff thrown at us. But because they've got that over 700 piercing defense, along with over 8,000 hit points, they really do hold up well. And that's one thing that makes them, you know, this really rounded unit that works well. So anyway, B point is kind of in trouble here. We're actually really in trouble here. A lot of stuff on the point, a lot of heroes trying to push us off. We don't have a lot here to support them. Thankfully, an allied team turns up with a bit of a shield wall. I'm at the back, just slowly pouring this fire on. Obviously, we're not getting a ton of kills immediately, because, you know, we're shooting one from quite a bad angle. We're basically shooting that shield wall that's basing off the walls. It's not a great position for us. And we're shooting against a shield wall. You know, we have got some block break ability, or even a block break. But, you know, it's obviously not killing everything immediately. So we are racking up kills, but not super, super fast. But once we get the shield wall down, and that's my aim, then I'm hoping to really be able to put the damage in. And you can see kills are starting to rack up now. I'll go for a little bit of focus fire against those archers at the back, and we cut them down pretty easily. You know, and remember, we're still on our original unit. We've not lost a single man here yet, and we're up to 75 kills. And we're just keeping the pressure on. And then as this shield wall is sort of pushing forwards and presenting a slightly better position, it's enabling me to push my unit further forwards and getting a better angle on that corner. And then the kills are just racking up. And that's where I think these guys just excel. They're just wonderful, the amount of damage they do and the amount of accuracy they have, and the fact that you can be really quite aggressive with them. I was just healing up and thinking about what to do. And look, as I get them to clear the corner, even though we're taking arrow fire back, because they've got so much health, it doesn't really matter. And look how many kills we are racking up. This makes this unit so perfect for this sort of situation. Absolutely just butchering some of the enemy archers there. We start to get hit by a bit of trebuchets, but thankfully we don't really take too much damage. As long as you only get clipped sort of a bit on the edge, these guys hold up to trebs just fine. As you see, we just butcher those archers. It's just brutal. So we end up with, you know, 130 kills for not a single man lost. And then there's just a really nice little clip here at the end. We get some Reapers charging in, and look at the damage hits we get against those Reapers before we run out of ammunition. We only get a volley off. Had another volley, would really be damaging those Reapers. But you can see, you know, the amount of damage we did with even just 1 or 2 shots. It shows these guys, you know, shows the armor penetration value of these guys that we actually have. And that is really it for this game. But, you know, the unit is still alive. It is out of ammunition, but say now the enemy had captured the A point, I'd easily be able to fall back to a supply point, you know, get the unit back with some more ammo and pull back to base, and I'm back with a full health, full ammo unit of Tercios. It just what makes them such a wonderful unit in defensive situations like this. But they can also be used in offensive situations quite well once you get them onto that sort of clear flat plateau where you can actually sort of fire nice and cleanly into the enemy. Then it really works quite nicely. But all in all, they really are a fantastic unit. I really, really have been pleased with them so far. So I would recommend them as a tier 5 unit. Really nice to play with, big fan. I think for me it's as much about their defense and resilience as much as their ranged defensive capability. It's the fact that they can get hit by arrows and not die in a way that not many other musket units really can. That's what makes them a truly great unit. But anyway, that's really all I've got for you today. Hopefully this has been enjoyable. If it has, do let me know what you think about Tercios in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe to the channel for a load more Conqueror's Blade content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you all on the next video.